Have you ever wondered what could possibly make a narcissist, those who seem untouchable with their sky-high confidence and masterful manipulation, tremble in fear before a quiet opponent? Not everyone sees it, but today I'm taking you on a journey to uncover a hidden power strong enough to bring their entire empire crashing down. This isn't just a story, it's the key to understanding why some people don't just survive narcissistic abuse, they conquer it. Narcissistic abuse is far from rare. It creeps into the most intimate relationships, from passionate romances to seemingly solid friendships, from family conversations to the hidden corners of the workplace. It's when someone draws you in with honey-sweet words, only to slowly strangle your spirit with control, doubt, and psychological games. Maybe you've been there, feeling trapped, manipulated, and wondering if there's any way out. I'm here to tell you there is, and it starts with recognizing a special kind of strength. If you've ever found yourself caught in a narcissist's whirlwind, desperately searching for a way out without losing your peace, then this video might just be your guiding light. Together, we're going to explore the concept of the Super Empath. Not just a deeply sensitive soul, but a true warrior. Someone with an inner power so potent it forces the narcissist to face their greatest fear. This is a story of resilience, of reclaiming control, and of how one person can flip the script on someone who once seemed invincible. So, what lies ahead? I'm going to reveal 6 powerful ways the Super Empath takes down the narcissist, step by step, strength by strength, so that you can not only understand it, but begin to apply it in your own life. Stay with me until the end of this journey, because what you're about to discover isn't just theory, it's a real-life tool for transforming how you deal with toxic relationships. Let's begin. To understand why the Super Empath is so unique, we first need to take a closer look at the narcissist, the adversary they face. Who is the narcissist? They're the ones who live with an unshakable belief that they are the center of the universe, that all eyes should be on them, every word should praise them. But don't be fooled by their confident exterior. Behind that polished mask lies a fragile ego, desperately dependent on admiration and absolute control. Picture someone entering your life like a warm breeze. They flash a dazzling smile, shower you with sweet compliments, and offer what seems like endless attention. You think you've found an ideal companion, the perfect partner, or a trustworthy colleague. But then things start to shift. That attention is no longer a gift. It becomes a rope tightening around your neck. The compliments turn into tools of manipulation, making you feel that without them you are nothing. That is the narcissist, a master of deception, someone who turns affection into a weapon. They lack true empathy. To them, you're not a human being with feelings, dreams, and intrinsic value. You're simply a source of attention, a mirror to reflect their greatness. They use subtle tactics to keep you under their thumb. One of the most powerful is love bombing. They flood you with overwhelming affection right from the start, making you fall hard, making you believe this is the most genuine connection you ever had. But once you're hooked, the mask slips. They begin to twist your reality, making you question yourself, making you believe that every problem is your fault, that you need them just to survive. Why do they seem unbeatable? Because they've mastered the art of manipulation to near perfection. Think of someone like Jake, a co-worker who constantly brags about his exaggerated successes, always trying to make you feel small just so he can shine. He knows how to plant seeds of insecurity, how to make you dependent on his approval. He builds a world where he's the king, and you're just a pawn on his chessboard. That's how narcissists operate. They construct a false reality where they hold all the power, and you're left with no choice but to comply. But what happens when the narcissist encounters someone who refuses to play by their script? Someone who doesn't fall for sweet words or psychological games? That's when the Super Empath enters, and everything starts to unravel. Join me in the next part as we dive deeper into the heart of this silent warrior. The Super Empath isn't your typical image of an empath. the kind who's highly sensitive, easily overwhelmed by others' emotions and sometimes exhausted by the weight of it all. No, the super empath is something far greater. Someone who has transformed their sensitivity into an unstoppable force. They don't just feel, they analyze, they act, and they win. Picture someone walking into a room and instantly picking up on every emotional nuance. They know who's faking a smile, who's hiding insecurity, who's trying to manipulate. That's the super empath. They possess razor-sharp emotional intelligence, the ability to not only sense their own emotions and those of others, but to manage them with precision. While the narcissist lacks empathy and uses that void to control, the super empath wields empathy like a mirror of truth, piercing through every layer of deception. Take Sarah, for example, a woman once manipulated by her partner through sweet promises and subtle control. At first she was drawn in, believing it was true love, but then something inside her awakened. She began noticing the little things, how his demeanor shifted when he didn't get his way, how he made her feel guilty for things that weren't her fault. She didn't stop at feeling, she started questioning, observing more closely, and from there she built a plan to break free. That's what makes a super empath. They don't just sense, they understand, and they act from that understanding. So what makes the super empath different? If the narcissist is a master of illusion, the super empath is a master of truth. They don't get swept away by sweet talk or carefully staged emotional performances. They see deeper, through the facade, and recognize the narcissist for who they really are, a selfish, insecure person, desperately clinging to a false self-image. It's this ability that makes the super empath the narcissist's greatest threat, a rival they cannot control, cannot manipulate with their usual tricks. And now that we understand who the super empath truly is, let's step into the most powerful part of this journey, the 6 ways they dismantle the narcissist. These aren't just traits, these are real weapons, forged through awareness and experience, ready to shatter the walls the narcissist has so carefully built. 1. Piercing through the narcissist with intuition. The super empath holds a power the narcissist never anticipates, the ability to see straight through their carefully crafted mask with razor-sharp intuition. This isn't some vague feeling or random hunch, it's a sixth sense, honed over time, that allows them to detect deception through the tiniest cues others often miss. Think about how narcissists operate. They begin with love bombing, a classic tactic where they flood you with sweet compliments, endless attention, and seemingly flawless behavior. Their goal is to sweep you off your feet, to make you believe this is the most genuine connection you've ever experienced. But with the super empath, this game never works. They don't just listen to words. They look into the eyes, they notice the tone of voice, they watch the way the body reacts, a fleeting eyebrow raise, a forced smile, a line that sounds too perfect. These are all red flags the super empath catches instantly. Imagine meeting someone who suddenly shows intense interest in you. They shower you with praise, they appear exactly when you need them. Most people might think, wow, this person is amazing. But the super empath pauses. They ask, why is this attention coming on so fast? What's hiding underneath it? They don't get swept up in emotion. They analyze. Science tells us that over 90% of human communication is non-verbal, eye contact, gestures, tone, and the super empath is a master at reading these signals. This isn't just awareness, it's power. When the super empath recognizes that love bombing is just a manipulation tactic, they don't fall into the trap. They keep their distance, observe more, and begin building a plan to protect themselves. They understand that the narcissist doesn't love them, the narcissist loves the reflection of themselves in the empath's eyes, and when the super empath refuses to be that mirror, the narcissist begins to unravel. Why does this ability terrify the narcissist? Because they survive on deception. They believe their mask, their charm, their confidence, their perfection is impenetrable. But when the super empath steps in, that mask becomes meaningless. They can't keep playing the hero when someone sees right through them. They can't manipulate when every move is exposed. For the super empath, intuition isn't just a defense, It's a dagger aimed straight at the narcissist's greatest weakness, the fear of being seen for who they truly are. And this is only the beginning. Let's move on to the second way the super empath makes the narcissist tremble. 2. Defeating the narcissist with the power of silence. The second weapon in the super empath's arsenal is their ability to throw the narcissist off balance with silence, a force that requires no words yet shakes the narcissist's entire world. While most people might argue, react, or even plead when faced with manipulation, the super empath takes a different path. They go silent. And that silence becomes the narcissist's worst nightmare. Narcissists feed off attention. It's the fuel that keeps their inflated ego alive. They need your reaction, whether it's anger, sadness, or fear. Any emotion will do as long as it gives them a sense of control. Picture a narcissist yelling, provoking, or stirring up drama just to pull you into their toxic game. Most people respond. They yell back, they cry, they try to explain. But the super empath, they do none of that. They simply look on, no words, no expression, and that sends the narcissist into a panic. The super empath's silence isn't passive, it's intentional, strategic. They understand that every emotional reaction is supply the narcissist craves. When you yell, you hand over your power. When you cry, you validate their importance. But when you go silent, you cut off the supply. Think of it like a boxing match. The narcissist throws punches, but the super empath doesn't dodge, doesn't hit back. They just stand there, unmoved, until the narcissist tires themselves out. Now imagine a real-life scenario. A narcissist in the family starts picking a fight. They criticize, exaggerate your mistakes, trying to get a rise out of you so they can reassert control. But the super empath doesn't take the bait. They hold eye contact, say nothing, show no emotion. That silence becomes a mirror, forcing the narcissist to confront themselves, to face the emptiness they've always tried to cover up. They don't know what you're thinking, they don't know what you'll do next, and that uncertainty eats away at them. Why is this so effective? Because narcissists cannot handle losing control. They need you to play their game to feel powerful. But when the super empath stays silent, they break the script. No drama, no chaos, and the narcissist is left scrambling. They may try to escalate, but the super empath's calm, unwavering silence only deepens their desperation. That silence doesn't just protect the super empath, it's a direct hit to the narcissist's greatest fear, being ignored. And as the narcissist begins to crack, the super empath is already preparing for the next move. Let's explore the third way they turn the tables. 3. Protecting themselves with unshakable boundaries. The third strength of the super empath is their ability to protect themselves with clear, solid boundaries. Not just empty words, but firm lines that cannot be crossed. These boundaries act as a shield the narcissist simply cannot penetrate, no matter how hard they try. The super empath's boundaries don't come from anger or fear. They're born from a deep understanding of self-worth. They don't need anyone else's approval to know they have value. They recognize that their kindness, sensitivity, and empathy are not open invitations for the narcissist to exploit. Instead of allowing the narcissist to keep pushing, the super empath draws a line in the sand and says, "This is where it stops." Think about how narcissists usually attack. They demand constant attention, they push you beyond your limits, they use your kindness to serve their own needs. The average person might cave, they fear conflict or worry about being seen as selfish. But the super empath doesn't play that game. When the narcissist tries to cross a line, demanding your time, your energy, your emotions, the super empath refuses. No long explanations, no justifications, they simply say no. And that unshakable firmness is something the narcissist can't handle. Imagine this. A friend keeps asking you for help, but never shows up when you need them. They make you feel guilty for setting limits, manipulating you with guilt trips. The super empath sees through this instantly. They don't argue, they set a boundary. I won't keep giving if this relationship only benefits one side, and they stand firm. no matter how much the narcissist pushes back. Why is this so powerful? Because boundaries are something narcissists can't tolerate. They survive by preying on weakness, by finding cracks in your kindness. But with a super empath, there are no cracks. Psychological studies show that healthy boundaries not only protect our mental well-being, but also strengthen our resistance to pressure. And the super empath turns this into an art form. They don't just protect themselves, they send a loud, clear message. You don't control me. The narcissist fears this kind of boundary because it strips them of power. They can't manipulate where there's no access point. To the narcissist, the super empath becomes an impenetrable wall, and that's when the narcissist starts to feel powerless. But the story doesn't end here. Let's move on to the fourth way the super empath takes back control. 4. Exposing the narcissist for the sake of justice. The fourth power of the super empath is their ability to expose the narcissist in the name of justice, not just to protect themselves, but to shield others from manipulation and abuse. This isn't about personal revenge. It's a deeper mission, rooted in a powerful belief that deceit must not be allowed to continue unchecked. The super empath sees the narcissist for who they truly are. Behind the charm and confidence lies a selfish individual willing to step on others to maintain their image. They can't stand to see the narcissist using lies to control or manipulation to harm those too vulnerable to fight back. And they don't stay silent. They take action. Picture a narcissist in a friend group, spreading false stories to maintain their perfect image, blaming others to avoid responsibility. Most people might stay quiet, afraid of being isolated or targeted. But the super empath doesn't take the easy way out. They step forward, calmly pointing out the contradictions in the narcissist's words, exposing the truth without shouting or causing drama. They do this not out of rage, but because they believe justice matters. Their pursuit of justice doesn't stop with direct confrontation. The super empath also supports others. Victims who are trapped in the narcissist's web and don't know how to break free, they listen, they guide, they help the vulnerable realize they're not alone. Think of someone who's been deeply hurt by a narcissist. The super empath doesn't just expose the abuser, they help the victim rise, reclaim their strength, and begin healing. Why does this terrify the narcissist? Because their entire existence depends on deception. Their mask is everything. When the super empath brings the truth into the light, that mask shatters. They can't keep manipulating once people see them clearly for what they really are, a selfish, insecure person with nothing but hollow arrogance. For the super empath, justice isn't just an ideal, it's a fatal blow to the narcissist's carefully constructed identity. And once the truth is revealed, the super empath is ready for the fifth move. Let's continue. 5. Healing from wounds through self-recovery. The fifth power of the super empath is their ability to heal from wounds through self-recovery, an extraordinary strength that allows them not only to survive, but to become even stronger after the damage inflicted by the narcissist. While the narcissist tries to drain them emotionally, to trap them in pain and self-doubt, the super empath finds a way to rise and rebuild. They understand that mental and emotional health is the foundation for resisting manipulation. When inside a toxic relationship, the super empath refuses to let the pain define them. Instead of drowning in despair or allowing the narcissist to continue controlling them through emotional scars, they pull back, not to escape, but to renew their spirit. They seek out peace, whether it's in a quiet meditation, an inspiring book, or a long day in nature. Anything that helps them heal from within. Picture someone who has just broken free from a narcissist's grip, once made to feel worthless, once manipulated to the point of doubting their own mind. The super empath doesn't let that state linger. They take time to reflect, to understand what happened, and to rebuild trust in themselves. Science has shown that practices like meditation and creative expression can restore mental energy, reduce stress, and enhance resilience. And the super empath makes these healing tools a vital part of their life. Self-healing isn't just about escaping the pain, it's about transforming it into strength. The super empath sees wounds as lessons, as opportunities to grow. They don't let the narcissist trap them in the past. They use the experience to move forward, to become a better, wiser version of themselves. Every time they rise, they don't just recover, they become more resilient, more aware, and unbreakable. This power terrifies the narcissist, because it means they can't destroy the super empath completely. The narcissist's goal is to break you down, to keep you in a weakened state where they can still maintain control. But when the super empath heals, they shatter that plan. They rise stronger than ever. And the narcissist is left helpless. They can't win when their target refuses to stay broken. And once the super empath has healed, they're ready for the final move. Let's discover the sixth and most powerful way they bring the narcissist to their knees. 6. Defeating the narcissist through patience. The final strength of the super empath is their ability to defeat the narcissist through patience, a long-term strategy that allows the narcissist to fall into their own trap without the super empath ever needing to strike directly. This isn't passive waiting, it's intelligent endurance, a carefully calculated approach that slowly dismantles the narcissist from within. Narcissists thrive on instant reactions. They want you to argue, to respond immediately so they can continue manipulating. They provoke, they criticize, they try to pull you into an emotional battlefield. Most people fall into that trap. They yell, they try to explain, they waste energy trying to change the narcissist. But the super empath, they don't play that game. They stay calm, they observe, and they let time do the rest. Picture a narcissist trying to pick a fight, throwing out accusations, exaggerating every detail to get under your skin. The super empath doesn't take the bait. They listen, they take note, but they don't get pulled in. They understand that impulsive reactions only feed the narcissist. It gives them a chance to defend, to escalate. Instead, the super empath waits. They allow the narcissist to trip over their own contradictions, to expose their own weakness through their irrational behavior. This patience is a sign of profound emotional intelligence. The super empath knows the narcissist can't handle being ignored. They need attention, they crave immediate validation. When the super empath denies them that, the narcissist grows restless, insecure. They may try to provoke harder, but the super empath's unshakable calm only highlights the narcissist's desperation. Over time, the narcissist discredits themselves. Their words lose weight, their actions become laughable. Why does this terrify the narcissist? Because they cannot control someone who refuses to follow their script. They become disoriented when the super empath doesn't react the way they expect, and that uncertainty eats away at them. For the super empath, patience isn't just a defensive move. It's a silent strike, one that makes the narcissist crumble under the weight of their own instability. So why is it that only the super empath can truly defeat the narcissist? Because they are the perfect blend of deep awareness, inner strength, and strategic intelligence, qualities that most people rarely possess when up against a narcissist. The average person gets pulled into the drama. They argue, they break down, they try to change the narcissist, not realizing that's exactly what the narcissist wants. But the super empath is different. They don't just survive, they dismantle the manipulation from the inside out. They use intuition to see through the lies, silence to disorient, boundaries to protect themselves, justice to expose the truth, self-healing to recover, and patience to win. Each of these powers is a blade to the narcissist's greatest weaknesses: their dependency on attention, their fear of exposure, their fragile ego. The super empath is the narcissist's natural nemesis, because they don't play by the narcissist's rules. They don't need to yell, they don't need a direct confrontation, they do it quietly, intelligently, and irresistibly. They turn the very weapons the narcissist uses, deceit, manipulation, arrogance, into the tools that ultimately destroy them. We've just explored the 6 ways the super empath defeats the narcissist. From seeing through deception, disorienting them with silence, protecting themselves with boundaries, exposing the truth for justice, healing through self-recovery to winning with patience. But the most important thing to remember is this: super empaths aren't born strong. They are forged through experience, by listening to their inner voice and by refusing to let a narcissist define their worth. You can become a super empath too. Start by trusting your intuition. It's your compass through toxic relationships. Learn to set boundaries. No one has the right to cross them without your permission. And above all, never let a narcissist make you doubt the power within you. This isn't just a journey of escaping abuse. It's a journey of reclaiming yourself, standing tall, and winning. If this video resonated with you, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and share it with anyone who needs a spark of hope in their battle with a narcissist. Leave a comment below which of the 6 strengths do you think is the most powerful. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Narcissists may believe they're unbeatable, but the super empath proves that true power doesn't lie in manipulation or control. It lies in truth, resilience, and the ability to rise above any darkness.